Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Take a seat, compose yourself. I know this is a bit shocking, this is. Today I'm going to be doing stage 12 of the Fanhome release of Build the Star Trek Enterprise D. I know it's been an absolute age, hasn't it? So I can't do this build well I'm wearing. Let's change that now. That's the wrong era. 1 second. That's better. Okay, we haven't done this for so long, I haven't even got a clue where we're up to now. So what I'm going to do is work through each stage on here. I do have the box of everything I've worked on down here, so I'm hoping I can kind of catch myself up. If you do want to get this for yourself, I don't know if it's still available. I have put my link in the video description and the QR code on the screen, but it's been months. Without further ado, let's get cracking. As you can see, we are doing issue 12 here, which is going to start with stages 43, then we're going to do 44, 45 and 46 here. So let's start with stage 43. Looks like we've got a panel now with some windows, nothing's changing there. It does look like we are putting a panel onto the Enterprise. We are going to test it as well. And then I've got some, what are these? Transponder Emitter Pads, just to put onto that Cobra Next section there. So here we go. Let's get everything out. God, this is crazy. I'm doing an Enterprise pack. I've done this in ages. Let's get everything out. Now, back in the day, I would have used my helping hands, but as you can see, I now have this little gadget here, which is really going to help me when it comes time to put the windows in, which is what we're actually going to be starting to do. So I've got a metal piece here, looking like that. It's labelled U2O2. These are already protected, as you can see on the little things here. That's going to hold that just like that. Now, I forgot how fiddly these windows are, so I will put my magnifying glasses on. And obviously, these magnifying glasses were featured in the show Strange New Worlds. So, pretty apt that I'm wearing them today. So, once again, cut the windows off. That's all the black windows. Now I've just got to do the clear ones. And I'm now ready to put all of these into here. Let's do that now. And as you can see, they're all in place. Okay, I'm just gently going to put this over to one side and I'm going to bring up the saucer section. And we haven't seen this for some time. That's how it's looking. As you can see, we've got this gap in here. This is where this is going to go. Now, as you can see, we do have some bulbs here, which we're going to be needing to put into the panel just below this, where it's going to go. So they're going to come through this side just here. And they're going to be sitting on top of the reflectors here. And here. Now they do fit in quite snug there, so when I actually put this top piece on, it shouldn't really dislodge these. What we are going to do though, is we have to remember gravity's not on our side, so I can't just turn this over. It does mean I'm putting it this way round and presenting this from the bottom here. Now this is where things are going to get fiddly. There's a lip on this side which needs to go underneath this panel here. So when I put this in, I need to offer it kind of like at a slight angle just to get that under there, to ensure that goes under this panel here. And there you go. That took some time just to get that in so it's under that lip there. If you don't do that, you're going to have a raised pad, and you don't want that, a raised panel. Now I'm holding this in with EM and BM screws. Now the BM screws are going into the black frame into the panel below. And you do want these to be really tight. I'll put one in, so that's going to hold that in. But every time we see a hole in the black frame panel, I'm going to want to put one of these screws in. At the same time, I'm now in a position to tighten up the screws from the panel next to it that I just loosened a second ago. So I'll do that now. This is the last frame panel going in. So that's perfect. And I'm just going to open these flanged EM screws up. And these are what's going to hold in the bulbs here. But we are putting this against plastic. So what you want to do is when you put these in, don't put them in tight. Just enough to have a bit of torque on there. That's enough. If you do put these too tight, you're going to crack that reflection plastic, this silver plastic here. You don't want to do that. These don't orientate the panel at all. All this is doing is holding the bulbs in. It's those screws that are going through the frame which are dictating how the panel's sitting on the saucer section. So if I turn that over now, as you can see, that has gone in lovely and smooth. Perfect. Put that to one side and bring over the battle section. We haven't seen this for ages, and just to show it still works, you see the lights still come on there and they're flashing and stuff. We're going to be putting on these emitters. So they look like this, and they're going to have adhesive on the back. I want to put one just in here. It's quite cold in the workshop at the moment, so I don't know if that's affecting the stickiness of this, but that's on. At the front, I've got this one. It's going to go in there. Perfect. As you can see, this one here is coming off. I might have to reinforce these with some glue. I don't want to do that yet, just in case I need to get back in there. Okay, we've got a little one to put down here. That's just going into there like that. I've got a strip to hide the screw hole here, which looks like this. And that's just to push him. Excellent. And then I've got another one that's just going to go into this panel just here. Again, it's just to push him. But that is the whole bottom section done. Looking good. Now, we've got two more screw holes, as you can see here, and that's what these blankers are for. Because we don't want to be seeing any screw holes. And they're going to push into these cavities here. One there. They shouldn't need glue. They are a tight fit, as you can see. I appear to have one left. I'm going to keep it safe. I can't see any that need one, but that is the end of that stage. So in stage 44, another panel to do here. We're going to be lighting this panel up with some reflectors. They do want me to test that. I'll do that afterwards. And then I'm going to be putting this onto the saucer section. And then I've got these bands here going along the top of that battle neck section there. So here we go. Here's stage 44. It does make things a lot easier when I can just click my fingers and put these windows in. Unfortunately, in real life, I can't do that, so it can be a bit tedious. Okay, let me get all of these off, and I'll put this in here. Put this in the wrong way round, Wayne. Ugh. Okay, as you can see, the windows are in. Now, before I put the lifeboats in, what I tend to do now is I dot some glue just along the edges here and at the bottom. Not a lot, just enough to hold the lifeboats in place. This is really going to aid towards light bleed. If I'm too worried about them, then I will put some insulating tape over these. These ones I'm not too worried about. So, got the lifeboats here. Make sure that the red line on these are facing down. Get these into position. Now I'm going to keep this on here while I put these reflector panels in. So the first reflector panel is going to be fitting on top here. We will be having an LED going in here, but I don't put that in straight away. They're held in with DM screws. So obviously they are going into metal. So what I'm going to do is put the screws in very loose. Okay, that's perfect. I can take this out of here now. Just lie this gently on the surface there. Okay, take the bulb that comes in this one. I want the black and the red wire. And I'm going to put that into this panel here and tighten this up. And I've had a couple of windows fall out on this side, so let me just repair that. Because once again, I'm going to be putting a reflector in this side. Now this time I'm going to have to put the bulb in first because I'm not going to have access to get it in a second. So that's in there like that. Get that into position there. And get this screwed in. This is amazingly fiddly. Now before I put the last one in, we do want to train this wire around to go between this section because we want this to lie as flat as possible, and where it was at the moment, that's going to impede it, so I don't want to do that. Put this last one in here, and that'll enable me to turn it over so you can see how that looks. Bring over the saucer section again, which looks like this, and this time this is going to be fitting into the position just here. I'm going to want the cable to go through the 2 bracket posts I've got under there. It's going to go in there. There's a lip on this side, so this is going to be sitting on top of that lip. So it's just a case of getting it into position and putting this in. Now, by the look of it, we're going to have some fun with this one. I'm not going to lie to you, this is going to be a tough one to get in. So you want to put it in. When you put it in, don't put it in an angle like this. You want it to be as flat as possible, and you're sort of going to want to slide this in. What I'm going to do is then put a block on this side, and I'm going to whack it with my hammer. And there you go, look at that. So it's a lovely smooth line with no gap. Very, very hard. I think that's probably the hardest panel to put in there. Now it's actually held in from the other side with 2 BM screws. My memory tells me one of those panels was really hard to put in, and I think that might have been the one. I can turn this over because that's really wedged in there now. That ain't coming out. But what I am going to need to do now is just screw this into place. Just into the points at the back here. Get that screwed in as hard as possible, because they are metal screws, so it doesn't matter about how hard I put these in. And there you go, look at that. With that in place, that's that saucer part in. Okay, put that to one side and bring over this bottleneck section again. And I've got these 2 parts now to put in. These are just held in with lugs on the side. So one this side here, they just clip in like this. So it looks like that. Hence do the one on the other side. That's all there is to do in that stage. In stage 45, another panel here, which we're just going to be testing. We're going to be adding that, and it looks like we've got a new circuit board to put in as well. And as you can see, we're going to be putting that new circuit board into position, and we are going to be connecting some of the wires up there. So now that's looking just like that. And then I've got a bit here for the nacelle that we're going to be putting in. That's looking like that. So let's get all of these parts out. And there's a lot in this one. Once again, I'm going to put all the windows in here and get this reflector ready to put in the saucer section. Now something slightly different on this one. I'm gently going to put this down. We do have some tape here because they want us to actually put some of this adhesive on the back of the windows at the top here. So I'm putting that into place. I don't know why that is. I just do as I'm told. Okay, so that tape's in place there. I've got to get the reflector in, so let me just put the bulbs in here first and put this in position on here. Before I tighten that up, I'll just have one bulb fall out here, so I just want to get that back in. Perfect. I'm holding that in with BP screws, and I need 3 of these. Excellent. As you can see, that's how that panel's looking. Just clearing everything up, because once again I'm going to be putting this into place. Now this time we're at this side, and I'm going to want this wire just to go through the square here. So this is actually going to sit on top. The lip on this one is going over the top of this one here. I'm going to just bend that wire there round so I can get this nice and flush in there. And it's going to sit in just like that there. So it's held in with CP screws. Let me get them ready. I'm going to need 2 of these. So one just here and one at the other side. And when that's in, it should look like that. Now on the saucer section, we've got a cable plugged into here. This is plugged into N1. I want to just detach that cable at the moment, because we do have a new PCB board here. And what I want to do is plug this cable into the new PCB board that we've got here, just down the bottom. Now I'm going to want to put this into place on the saucer section. And once again, we've got some lifters on here. It's going to go into the position just like that there. Perfect. It's actually held in with 2 FM screws. And there you go, that's into place. Now, this cable that we got here is going to be plugging into the very corner slot on this side here, which is labelled out 1 on the circuit board. And that's connected. And then all the plugs I've got from the right hand side of the saucer here, which don't seem to be attached to anything at the moment. I'm just seeing how many that is. It looks like there's 5. They're going to be plugged into the middle of this board here. So I count 4 down. I'm going to start plugging them in from the 5th one in. And there you go. They're all into place. Now they've gave us some cable ties now, just to start tidying all of these wires up, which I'm going to do now. Perfect. So that's all neat on that side. Just going to turn this over because I'm working on this side now. Got 5 plugs on this side to go in. So let's get all of these into place. And there you go, they're all in on that side. And once again, the cable tie these up to ensure they're all batched together. Now the whole idea of this, putting the cable ties on, is not just wire tidy. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that the other side of these brackets here aren't going to be impeded by any wires, because when we put the bottom panels on, we don't want to go through these wires here. But there you go, that's all in place. Now what we should be able to do now is connect the battery pack up, and it should light everything I've plugged in. I'm going to be plugging it into the import of the first PCB board, and what should happen is it all should light up. Let me turn some lights off here. As you can see, everything is lit up here, but that is how it's looking. That is excellent. Okay, perfect test. Put that to one side, and the only other thing I've got left to do is I've got 2 little diffusers here for the this is going to be for the nacelle, and it just slips in here just like that. With that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. So in the last stage here, as you can see, stage 46, another panel, which I'm just going to be putting in like that, and I'm going to put this into the saucer section again, and then I'm going to be bringing over the nacelle. I'm going to be attaching some lights into that. So even though the video running time for this, I can guarantee is probably going to be just over 10 minutes, I reckon, perhaps 15. The recording time at the moment, just so you know, is 1 hour 20 minutes, and it's because putting the windows in and stuff just takes so much time. I did take quite a bit of time to put that panel in as well in the, was it the last stage? So that's why it does take your time. Right, you know what I'm going to do here. So what I'll do is I'll get this all finished, ready to put into the saucer section. And once again, that's another panel done. Okay, let's get this onto the saucer section. And this one's going to go right next to the one that we put in. And exactly the same way, we're going to have the lead going above the frame. I want to sort of like tuck this LED under here, because obviously this is going to fit next to this one right here, and that's going to go in like that. Once again, it's held in with 2 CP screws. Now the lead that we've got, I'm going to have all the leads going off in the same direction, is actually going to be going into this top row here. So put that to one side and bring over the nacelle that we have been working on. Now you remember we had this grill here. We're going to be putting that into position, which just slots into the side there, just like that. And then I've got the lights. Now the way these work is I want them this way round, just bending the wires back, because when I put this on here, I want this LED to be resting on the back there, just into that section. Now one of these LEDs here is going to go through the frame here. Get me tweezers to help me, because I want it to go into this light at the back. So that's in position there. I'm going to use some CP screws to then attach this to the center. It's held in 3 places, just like that. There is a hole just at the end, but we don't put anything in that. But with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. Now we do have some screws left over. I've got some AM and some BP screws, so I am going to keep those safe. So there you go. Recording time, 1 hour, 33 minutes. And that is how that's looking. We are getting there. It's actually quite good to be back to this, so I hope I've pleased a lot of you of continuing this series. I don't know why I held off for a little while, but I did, and I'm now back to it. But I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.